Hey folks, this is the November installment of What I Do, and it's kind of marks an end of a very productive period and an interesting experiment I gave myself a challenge to do. I made the record and finished it back in April, but after making the first music video, I made the decision to try to see if I could do an entire video series of the entire record. Um, and didn't know if I could actually make it work. But I've spent the past 7 months making 12 music videos for each track on the record. Just finished the last one, I Invented You, just dropped last week, which was a pretty interesting one. It was one I had thought about doing, but it took a lot of preparation for it. I tried to recreate the last part of Tropic Thunder. There's a character, Les Grossman, played by Tom Cruise, which is probably one of my favorite Tom Cruise performances. But he plays a character called Les Grossman, who's a studio executive and kind of a sleazebag. But at the end, he does a hip hop dance to some music at the end, and I thought it was a really funny video conclusion to the movie. And I thought for a long time I had written the song I Invented You, which kind of talks about a person like him, basically saying, be like me and you'll be successful. And it was kind of my version of Pink Floyd's Have a Cigar. So I thought that would be a good match if I could make it work. But of course, I don't have locations to film in, and it's a very specific parody. So I wanted to make sure I got it right so that people would understand what I was doing. So I managed to find some decent images of the office that were used in the final scene, and thought it might be possible if I could make a big enough green screen, I could shoot myself on the green screen and take out the background of myself and drop it into the scene. It might look reasonably good. Done it before, but this was a pretty ambitious one. I wanted to try to make it as professional as I could. So then I had to go find the costume for him, and then I had to try to learn some of his moves that he was doing. It took most of a day to set up this green screen. It was a pretty large, it was about 10 by 7 feet high, and lighting was a little tricky, but it took up the entire living room of the apartment. And as you'll see, um, it was but I was able to get the footage I needed, and it seemed to work really well with what I had captured as far as backgrounds. So I can't say much for my dancing, but I did my best. But it actually did. I did fairly resemble the character once I got the garb on. It looked pretty convincing, so that'll go a long way. But it was fun. I mean, I got it done. It took a long time to render. It was a very labor or processor intensive amount of layers and effects I had to put into this video. So I had to wait 2 days to render out a 3.5 minute video, but it looked about 90% of what I was hoping for. So I thought that was probably the best one to end on. It was the most ambitious, and it was the most challenging one, and required me to bring all of my abilities to bear in one project. But like I said, this is the final video for this project, this series, this album, and now I'm sitting here. The thing's finished. It's been a year of my life that I've invested everything I have into. I mean, everything I've learned, everything I've experienced, the the friends and people I know who have influenced me, and artists who have influenced me, everything that I've put into this album, that into the music, into the whole project, doing the graphics, doing the album cover, doing um, all the production, writing, the mixing, the vocals, the acting in the videos, and sometimes it was pretty much everything that represents who I am now is in this project at this particular time in my life. So I'm very proud that I had the grit to push through and complete this, because it was tough. It was a little difficult sometimes to to work through all these different videos and try to come up with concepts for them. But I think there were some that were using these clips as I described. There were some that I did perform in, that I shot some outside locations for. There were some that I actually, one of them I used a video or from the film Pit and the Pendulum in 1961, the Vincent Price movie, kind of a low res version of it, but I used that for one of my songs, Pendulum, that um, started out with the line, the pendulums swing so hard it might break. So that was the influence for it. But once I dropped the video in there, some of the clips from the movie, it almost was like the Wizard of Oz and Dark Side of the Moon. It was like everything just synced up so well that I just thought, well, I'll just make the whole video this. And so it was just like, I just kind of went with whatever seemed right at the time. So they're not all a uniform style. They're not all the same types of themes. They just kind of are individual standalone things. So there was one I did with tornadoes that I created. I had tornadoes in a previous video, but I brought them back for Bomb Cyclone, and that was a very special effects heavy one too that I did. So I mean, it was challenging me in all kinds of ways to use what I had learned and to learn new things in order to make these projects happen and come to life. So boy, it is so noisy out here. Um, but it's nice out here. I want to stay. Um, I mean, it's just, I've never made such a commitment to a project ever. But I thought this album was one of the best things I've ever done. I mean, ever since Negative Space, I've just felt very proud of the work I've done because it represents, I think, a better version of who I am. It's more true and authentic to who I am. And it's like David Bowie says, if you, he said in an interview, if you try to please other people with what you're doing, then you're making a gross mistake. And that's what I've tried to do. It's like I've tried to be authentic to what I want to do, and I'm hoping that that enthusiasm carries forward. So I'll say briefly though that I brought it up in the last video that I've been a little disappointed this year with how the social media platforms their algorithms are affecting my engagement. And I know that's true because when I've written posts, and I have a Facebook, I write some posts, I give my opinions on things that are going on right now. And I posted something and it goes from there to Threads. Another part, it's like the Twitter version on the Facebook's version of Twitter. And it posted there and went viral. And this one particular post had 51,000 views on it. So I thought, well, this is great. Maybe I should do that to promote my music and I'll get more views. Well, I put one link to my last video up there, and as far as I know, it got less than 10 views. So it's like, you got 50,000 over here and you got 5 over here. And just something is definitely not right. And I feel like there's some thumbs on the scale. I know from my research that they don't want you to leave the platform. They want to keep you on the platform engaged. and any external links are just not going to get any attention. The other thing is the subject matter. Although, from what I researched on Threads, it says we were trying to get a friendly community involvement, engagement. So why is it you're letting me write about Kash Patel's 26-year-old girlfriend and give me like let me go viral and get 10,000 likes and 51,000 views, but my content that I am sharing that I want people to engage with gets nothing. So anyway, I just want to raise that. I've resisted bringing that subject to bear because it seems petty and small, but when I saw that example, it seems like there's just something not right. And it seems like in the last year, my views have just gotten dwindled I don't know what the algorithm changes have been, but on several social media platforms, including YouTube, it just hasn't been it hasn't met my expectations. But I've also noticed that there are other people who are saying the same thing on discussion boards. So I know it's real, but it's very discouraging, and for sure, and it makes you want to think sometimes, what's the point? But I will continue regardless. It's frustrating, but it's not going to stop me. I just hope things change at some point. I hope there's a way through that. So anyway, I didn't want to dwell on that, but I did want to bring it up because it's become a bigger issue, and it's become a chronic problem that I feel needs to be brought up and called out. So anyway, so project's done. A year's worth of work. It's all done. I've got an empty slate again, an empty vessel, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. The holidays are coming up. Maybe I should just wait until the beginning of the year to get started. But I really don't have any idea yet. And that's okay. I don't have any idea what I want to do. I want to try to be more thoughtful about my next group of songs. I want to try to challenge myself to do something new. I have a friend I collaborated with for a long time, and I give him a lot of credit for me being where I am now, on this level I'm at now. But we haven't made any decisions about anything. There is a covers album I started about a year ago that my friend Pat, um, suggested and then sent me a list of songs that I had no input for. He just sent me a list, and there were a lot of 60s and 70s songs that I knew but didn't know that well, and some of them I liked, some of them I wasn't real keen on. But he gave me a challenge to try these songs, so I will give it a go. Don't know if it's going to be right away, but that might be something to kind of just bide my time while I'm trying to figure things out. There's just so many things up in the air right now. It's hard to know what to do. And I'm one of the lucky ones because I finally have gotten myself out of my situation that I was in, where I was not, I was working somewhere where I wasn't making a living and had to work a second job, to getting moved to a place nearby that I'm getting better hours and doing a heck of a lot better financially. That's been a big load off my mind. And I've been more happy in this place I am with my partner. And so things just seem to have finally settled in. And in spite of everything that's going on in the world, I mean, I'm in a place where I can kind of hunker down for a while, I hope, and just go to work and come back and not be bothered. And then I can work behind the scenes to do what I can to work for change and work for improving and removing certain individuals. So other projects, I mean, I might go back and remix songs from some of the albums. I might go into one. There was a video I did this summer, one video I did outside of the project for my album Schadenfreude, which never had a video done because I was working on that one while I was working on it, I was doing videos for the previous album, because when I was doing those videos, it just was taking longer. I wasn't as adept at it. And by the time I finished Schadenfreude and I jumped into Years Not Days, I was still working on videos for Double Negative, and then I just sort of leapfrogged over Schadenfreude and I made videos for Years Not Days and went on forward. But I thought, well, maybe I should go back and think about revisiting some of that. I don't know. It's sometimes it's nice to not know what you're going to do next. It used to scare me, but now it's just like something always happens. Something always points me in the right direction. So I don't know what else to tell you, but I am generally in good spirits. I'm trying to prepare myself for the next step. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to evolve further and trying to make something meaningful and something that's not following the trends. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to surprise myself next year with what I come up with. And generally, it's like I have maybe one idea going in, and when I come out, it's something I had no idea would happen. It's just that's just been the way it's been for 10 records. I mean, this was my 10th album since 2017, so pretty proud of that body of work, and I can't wait to add more to it. So I will keep you posted on the next installment, the next chapter. Try to have a great holiday, folks. I don't know if I'll post before the end of the year or not. I may, but I'll wish you well. I'll wish you sanity. I'll pray that law and order will return and prevail. So take care of yourselves. I'll see you later.